Good morning, students. So my PPT is visible. My voice is audible. So yesterday we discussed about risk management, fourth unit. Okay. So risk is an uncertain event that occurs and affects the project. Okay. So the cause of risk are staff inexperience, inaccurate estimation, uncertain requirements, poor specifications. So this is the project planning activities. We are discussed in chapter 1. In this, risk planning is done in step 3 and step 6. These are the categories of risk: actors, technology, task, structures. So yesterday we discussed about planning for risk, steps for planning for risk identification, risk assessment, risk planning, and risk management. So risk identification is checklist and brainstorming. So risk assessment, we are using the risk exposure formula. We have to calculate the risk assessment. Okay. Then risk reduction. In these three risk reduction, we already have a table by using, if any risk occur, by using this we have to solve the risk problems. Then last one is risk management. In this three concepts of risk management are contingency, deciding on risk action, creating and maintaining the risk. So we already know contingency. If the faculty and if any member or any team member uh, leave on illness, the project manager has to adjust that we call it as a contingency. And deciding on risk, we have to RRL is equal to risk before risk exposure before minus risk exposure after divided by cost of reduction. So that is RRL. Then creating and maintaining the risk register. We have the make a risk record. See this here. This is the record. Risk ID, risk title. All these are in this creating, maintaining the risk register. Next, yesterday we already discussed about PET. So that is program evaluation review. So here three estimates are required. That is most likely time and optimistic time and pessimistic time. So here optimistic time is represented with A. So it's likely time. So mislikely time is M and optimistic time is A and the pessimistic time is B. So by combining these three and we have the T value that is A plus 4M plus B by 6. So this is the PERT activity time estimates. So this is the table. So by using this table, you have to construct a PET network in forward pass. By using forward pass, you have to construct the PET network by using these values. So in this example, you have to take 15 weeks duration overall project. So this is first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So from this table, we have to calculate the optimistic A value and most likely M value and pessimistic B value. We have to substitute in the above formula. We are getting the values here. These are the values. By using those, just I am repeating extra topics only. That's why I am telling very fast. So by substituting those values, we are getting the T. Okay. So here T equal to 6.17, 6. C equal to 2.83. By using that table, we are calculating, we are getting the T value. We have to we write all the values in this diagram. Okay. Yesterday we discussed here only. Here, see here in this PET consisting of the PET event labeling conversion adoption here indicates event number and its target date along with the calculated values for expected time and standard deviation. So first of all, we have to move to the first one, standard deviation. So here PET generally consisting of 4 values, that is event number, target date, expected date, standard deviation. We have to calculate all these values today. So the advantage of this approach is it places on emphasis on the uncertainty of the real world. Okay. So rather than saying the completion date for the project is, that leads us to say we expect to complete the project by. Okay. So the completion date for the project is, instead of that we are saying that we expect to complete the project by. So see here we have to move to the we have to calculate all these values in the next slides. So just we move to the that is standard deviation. See here standard deviation. So what is standard deviation? So a standard deviation so a quantitative standard deviation means a quantitative measure of the degree of uncertainty of an activity durations. Estimates may be obtained by calculating the standard deviations of an activity time using the formula. This is the formula given by standard deviation. This is the formula for standard deviation. So it is an quantitative measure of the degree of uncertainty is obtained by calculating the standard deviation using this formula S equal to B minus A by 6. By using the above table, we have to substitute the B values and A values here. Okay. So B is optimistic. Okay. B is sorry, A is optimistic time and B is pessimistic time. By using the above tables here, the table is drawn here. So here see this S equal to B minus A by 6. That is B is 8 here. A is 5, 8 minus 5, 3 by 6. Sorry, pessimistic time. B 8 minus 5. Okay. So substitute the values in this equation. We have get the see here 8 minus 5 by 6, that equals 0.50. And similarly we have to calculate the B value and C, D, E, F, G, H. So we have to calculate all these values by after calculation the values by above formula. We are getting these values, that is 0.50, 0.33, 0.17, 0.25. These are the standard deviation, that is the measure of degree of uncertainty. We call it a standard deviation. These are the values. For I solve only two values, remaining how to solve your own. Okay. So the activity standard deviation is proportional to the difference between the difference between the pessimistic time and optimistic time. So this is the difference between the pessimistic time and the optimistic time. So after calculation is performed on all activities, this is the table with the expected time and standard deviation. Okay. So if you want to see here, this is the after calculating the standard deviation value, we have to write in the above PET network with the TE values and the standard deviation values. Okay. So if you want to, there is a small difference to add two standard deviation values. So see the diagram here. If you add this standard deviation value and this A and C, okay, we must add their squares. So first we have to square A value and we have to square C value. We add their squares and sum them, and we have to calculate and find the square root of their one. See here, this is the formula. So we have to square the A value and C values. Here A value square and C value square. After getting the square value, we have to sum A and C. Then we have to find the square root of the sum, that we get 0.53. 0.50, I think so. Oh, sorry. 0.53, see here, 0.53. So why we are writing here means, so I already told you this PET contains event number, okay, target date, expected date and standard deviation. Okay. So these are the four here. This first one is the event number, next one is the target date, next expected date, next one standard deviation. See the diagram here. This is the expected date. Okay. See here, this is the expected, this is the target date. This is the target date. So this is expected date. This is the standard deviation. Okay. So first we have to calculate this by using the formula. Then you must add their squares and find the square root of their sum. Similarly, see here, for this you have the root from C and H also, and we have the root from E and H, E and G, and we have the value from, that is F and G. So there are three paths here. So which deviation get the more value, we will write here. The more value get, that will write here. So that is the path from F and G. Okay. We get 1.22, remaining are the path less than this value. The cost of the path is less than this value. So I write the highest path, that is 1.22. Everybody clear? So see here, calculating the standard deviation difference between small difference, add two standard deviations, we have the formula. See here, okay. Next, after this, so after this, this is the value of standard deviation, we have to write here, okay. This is the value of standard deviation. This is the target date. So how we calculate the target date? Event number is nothing but the serial number, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. We already calculated the standard deviation. Now we calculate the target date. So target date is we must complete the project within the target date. So the target date is obtained by adding the expected date and the standard deviation. So by adding the expected date and standard deviation, we get the target value. So we already calculated T value here. From the starting table, we calculate T value, so we write here. So now we adding the T value and the standard deviation, we get the target value. That is we write here. Okay. So 9 plus 0.53, that is 10, and 13.5 plus 1.22, that is 14 point something. We are writing here 15. That is the target date. Okay, clear? So yesterday I already discussed, I am repeating this topic. So everybody clear? So next we have to calculate the missing target. So that PERC technique using 3 steps for calculating the probability of missing target. That is standard deviation, yes, and expected date, T, that is target date. So by calculating these values, we are getting the Z value. So for here, for uses 3 steps. Okay, for activity 4, so this is the activity 4, this is the activity 3, this is the activity 2. Okay, for activity 4, target is T is 10, next E is 9, 10 minus 9 by 0.53, that equal 1.8, that is we call it as a missing target Z. Okay. Understand? So see here, the jadwal is called for each node that has a target date. So it is equivalent to the number of standard deviation between the nodes expected and the target date. So it is calculating this formula. Okay. So see here, in this the Z value of the project completion of any event is for example, that is 1.23. So see here in this figure, we get here 1.23. Sorry, get here. So it equates to a probability of approximately 11%. So there is an 11% risk of not meeting the target date at the end. This is the 11% risk of the after not meeting the target date of the end of the week 15. So clear? So this is the probability of obtaining a value within Z standard deviation of the mean for normal distribution. Okay, clear? So here the graph is equivalent of tables of Z values known as standard normal deviates, which may be found in most statistics textbook. You have to see this in statistics textbooks. Okay. So here this is the probability of not meeting a target date. So see here in this example, we are estimating the project end date is 15 from the example, but your target completed in 14.72. Okay. So this we call it the target date and the missing target Z value. So next one we move to the next topic is Monte Carlo simulation. So an alternative to the PET technique, and to provide a greater degree of flexibility in specifying likely activity durations. So we can use Monte Carlo was also simulation technique to evaluate the risk of not achieving deadlines. Okay, so the basic of this technique is the calculation of event times for a project network a large number of times, uh, each time selecting activity times randomly from a set of estimates for each activity. So the results are then be tabulated, summarized and displayed as a graph. Okay. As shown in this figure, we have to represent this type of representation in Monte Carlo simulation. Okay. So Monte Carlo is a general analysis technique used to solve any problem which is complex and involves uncertain parameters. So Monte Carlo simulation involves repeated random sampling to compute the result. So since it is based on repeat computation of random or numbers, it becomes more easier. So it is easy to analyze the risk of not meeting the project deadline. So the activity duration can be specified in a variety of forms depending upon the information available. So MCS calculates the results repeatedly. Okay, each time it uses different set of random values for each function. So MCS involves thousands of calculations depending on the number of parameters of the project. So after results are available, then they are analyzed, represented graphically. So this is the graphical representation of Monte Carlo simulation. Here this is the risk profile for activity generated using the Monte Carlo simulation. So this is the white is the activity start there. This is the activity ended. Activity start here, activity end here, activity start here, activity end here. So before the it will completed. Okay, so this is Monte Carlo. So these are the steps involved carried out small MCS. So that is here step 1. So step 1, express the project completion time in terms of duration of the n activities. So that is xi equal to that is represented in xi format. Okay, so that is xi I equal to 1 2 and so on n. So here let activities be n and the completion time in the duration is xi, that is xi equal to 1 and xi equal to 2 and so on, xi equal to n values. Okay, step 2, generate set of random inputs. So here xi equal to 1 and now here we have to calculate xi1 here. Next xi2 and so on using specified probability distribution, that is step 2, generate set of random inputs. For xi1 the random input and xi for xi for I equal to 1, what is the random input, and for I equal to what is the random input by using the specified probability distribution. Step 3, evaluate the result. Evaluate the project completion time expansion and store the result in di. We are taking one variable di. So di equal to, this is the formula. F of, okay. So we have to substitute we have to store the result in di. Then step 5, step 4, repeat step 2 and 3 for the specified number of times. You have to repeat step 2 and 3 for the, so step 2 is random inputs you are taking. Step 3 is you have to store in DI value. You have to repeat the steps 2 and 3 specified number of times. Next one, step 5. So analyze the result D I equal to 1 to so on, and summarize and display using a histogram as the one of the shown in above figure, that is the, so this is the figure we have already seen the probability by representing this form. Okay, so that is about Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, we are involving here 5 steps here. Okay, we are taking xi equal to 1 and so on, xi equal to n, and we have to calculate the random inputs for xi 1 value and xi 2 value, etc. And also we have to store in taking variable d. In step 4, repeats 2 and 3 number of times. Step 5, analyze the result and display in histogram. Okay, so this is about Monte, and we completed our 4th unit. Anybody has any doubt regarding 4th unit, please write a message in chat box. Any queries clearly understood? Any doubts about any formula? Must remember these, we have to calculate all these values. Even number is nothing but the number we have to path number 1, number 2. This is not difficult. We have to calculate the target value for all the activities. This is the even number, is nothing but the activity number. A is 1, B is 2, that is the even number, and expected you have to calculate the formula T equal to A plus 4M plus B by 6. This is the formula for TE, and we have to calculate standard deviation B minus A by 6. You have to remember all these formulas, and we have to calculate the difference between or sum of 2 activities. We are using this formula. Okay, so this is the end of 4th unit. Today we move to the next unit, that is 5th unit. One minute. So this is now we have moved to the 5th unit. My screen is visible to everyone. Okay, so this is the about unit 5, project monitoring and control and resource allocation. Okay, my screen is visible. So what is monitoring? So what is monitoring? So see here, monitoring means monitoring means collecting, recording and reporting information concerning project performance that project manager and other wish to know. So monitoring means help to ensure project stay on target. So here monitoring and control will help to ensure project stay on the target. It can also help to get projects back on target that has gone off target. Okay, so actually monitoring is collecting, recording and reporting information concerning the project performance that the project manager and other wish to know. So monitoring is the regular observation and recording of activities taking place in a project or program. It is a process of routinely gathering information on all aspects of the project. So the monitor is to check on how project activities are progressing. It is observation or systematic and proposal observation. We call it as a monitoring. So monitoring also involves giving feedback about the progress of the project to the donors and implemented progress to the project donors, implementers and beneficiaries of the project. So reporting enables the gathered information to be used in making decisions for improving project performance. So that is about monitoring. Then we move to the controlling. Uses data from monitor activity to bring actual performance to planned performance. So here project control is project control are the data gathering, management and analytical process used to predict, understand and constructive influences the time and cost outcomes of a project or program. So through the communication of information in formulas that assist effective management and decision making. So this project control, this definition encompasses all stages of a project or program life cycle, from the initial estimating needed to size a proposed project through the reflective learning, that is lesson learned, and the forensic analysis need to understand the causes of failure, and also we have to develop clients. This is we call it as in project controlling. So okay, so next we move why do we monitor. Why do we monitor? Simply because we know that things do not always go according to plan. That is, no matter how much we prepare. So to detect and react appropriately to deviations and change to plan. So that's why we have to monitor. Okay. So to detect and react approximately to deviations and change to plan, that's why we have to monitor. Then what do we monitor? First, man, that is human resources. Then you have to monitor machines, materials, money, space, time, task or quality or technical performance. These are we have to monitor. Then when do we monitor? So when do we monitor has inputs and outputs. In recording to coming to the inputs, we monitor time, money, resources, material usage, task, quality or technical performance. Coming to the outputs, to see the progress and also see costs and job starts, when the job is started, and job completion when the work is completed, and we have to see engineering or design changes. Then we have to choose the variation order. Okay, last one, how do we monitor? How do we monitor means, so one is end of the project or continuously or regularly or logically, while there is still time to react, and as soon as possible, or at task completion, at pre-planned decision points or milestones we have to monitor. Okay, so see here, See here, project monitoring and control. So evaluation and comparison of actual measured results against those planned is the fundamental process of the project monitoring process. Okay, whenever there is a variance, corrective action is required to keep the project on schedule and to budget. The inputs are the project plan and progress reports that contains data collect from the project team. So when progress deviates significantly, and this usually means outside of a predetermined tolerance limit, it is important to identify the underlying causes and take corrective action. So that is about project monitoring control process. So in monitoring process on a regular basis, first we have to collect, that is get data about the current status of your project. Second one, measure and compare, that is compare with baseline plan, highlight any deviation, make a projection based on correct data. Third one is assess and replan. So decide whether corrective actions are necessary. If so, plan, document, and take the corrective action. Then we have moved to the that is monitoring controlling activities. So the monitoring controlling activities are first one, that is involving tracking, reviewing, and regulating project progress. Okay. Next includes status reporting, progress measurement, and forecasting. And also it includes reports on scope, schedule, cost, resources, quality, and risk. That is about those are the activities of monitoring control. Then control project and project document charges changes. So we have to control project and project document changes, and also includes control of scope, schedule, cost, and risk, and formalize acceptance of deliverables, and record quality control results, and implement risk treatment plans and actions. And last one is administer supplies. Okay, these are the activities of monitoring and control. Okay, any doubt? So next we come to the next topic, that is creating framework. Okay, so see here in creating framework, so exercising control over a project and ensuring that targets are met. Targets are met is a matter of regular monitoring, finding out what is happening and comparing it with current targets. So if there is a mismatch between the planned outcomes and the actual ones, then either replanning is needed to bring the project back on target, or the target will have to be revised. So this is the diagram illustrates a model of the project control cycle and shows how once the initial project have been published, project control is a continual process of monitoring progress against the plan, and where necessary revising the plan to take account deviations. So it also illustrates the important steps that must take after completion of project, so that the experience gained in any one project can feed into the planning stages of the future projects. So it allowing us to learn from past mistakes. So here start publish initial plan, then move to the gather project information. Okay. First we have to start, then publish initial plan, then gather project related information and compare progress versus target. Okay. Okay, next we move to stationery, then project completed, then we have to move, if the project completed as, then we move to the project stationery is completed, then we move to the project completed, then if the true, then take, if the satisfactory is no, then take remedial actions, then publish the revised plan, and we have to again go to the gather project information. If the satisfactory is not, this progression targets are not satisfactory, move remedy actions, and we have to revise the plan. This is the diagram about project control cycle. If it is done, project completed, we move to the end project. Otherwise, if there is in fault, we move to the no, and again we have to revise, go to the project information, then we have to again do these steps. So this is about creating the framework. So by using the project, this flowchart we represent as a project control cycle. This is call it as a project control cycle. Okay. So see here. So here, this monitoring control is monitor process, then evaluate the process. If it is satisfactory, move to the monitoring process. If no, access possible control actions and select and implement the control actions, then move to the monitoring process. This we call it as a monitoring. First we have to monitor the process, then we have to evaluate the progress. It is satisfactory. Yes, then we have to again monitor another one. Otherwise, we have to access possible control actions, then select implement and again move to the monitoring. So, project framework consisting of understanding the project control cycle. This is the project control cycle, and establishing the project structure. Okay. So, we see that in so we can see this in next slide. So we already studied the project control cycle. So that is the creating the framework. So see here in this in creating the framework, it consists of responsibility, accessing progress, setting checkpoints, and taking snapshots. Okay. So first we move to the responsibility. So the overall responsibility for ensuring satisfactory progress on a project is often the role of project steering committee or project board. So day-to-day responsibility with so day-to-day responsibility will rest with the project manager and in all, but the smallest of projects, aspects of this can be delegated to the team leader. So see here in this figure, the typical reporting structure found with medium and large projects. So with small projects, that is employing a fewer staff. Small projects, the employees with very few staff. So individual team members usually report directly to the project manager. But in most cases, team leaders will collate reports on their sections, progress, and forward summaries to the project manager. So it will be incorporated into project level reports for steering committee and via directly progress reports for the client. So reporting may be oral, So see here reporting may be oral or written or regular ad hoc. Okay. So reporting may be oral or written, formal or informal, nor regular ad hoc. These are the examples given for categories of reporting. Okay. So before going this, we have to see the diagram. So steering committee. So here the overall responsibility of ensuring satisfactory progress on a project is the main role is project steering committee or project board. So see here analysis and design section there is a team leader is there, and programming section is another team leader, quality and control section we have also another team leader, user document section another team. So these team leader interacting with the project manager, all these are interacting with the project manager. Then the steering committee is interact with the project manager. The project manager also interact with the client. So this is the responsibility. So then see here. So categories of reporting here. So oral for this oral formal. Oral the all these one time one report type, that is oral formal regular. Okay. So example is weekly or monthly progress meeting. So oral formal regular means we have to conduct a weekly or monthly progressing meeting, and while reports may be oral, formal, written, minutes should be kept. Okay, that is about comment. Then oral, formal, adapt. This is one. In this end of the stage review meeting. After end of the stage, we have to conduct a review meeting. So here, while largely oral, like to receive and generate written reports. We have to generate the written reports. Then we move to the written regular, written formal and regular. Example is job sheets, progress reports. So normal weekly using forms. Here we are using weekly using forms. Then written formal ad hoc. So here inspection reports, change reports. These are the examples. Then last one oral formal ad hoc. So here example is canteen discussion or social interaction. This is oral and form. So for this often provides early warning, must be backed by formal reporting. So these are the responsibility, and this is the categories of reporting. Okay. Then so just see here what is responsibility means. Here responsibility is taken by the project steering committee, then project board, and reporting is formal or informal. Okay. Okay, clear? So tomorrow we will discuss about accessing progress, setting checkpoints, and taking snapshots. Okay. Then we discussed about collecting data, that is partial completion reporting and risk reporting. Tomorrow we will discuss all these topics. So everybody clear today? Anybody has any doubt regarding today's topic? Please write a message in chat box. Okay, no doubts. Okay, today I am ending the session. Tomorrow we will meet. Okay. Please write a message. Anybody has any doubt? Okay, I'm end the session. Thank you. 1 minute. Today absentees are 5, 9, 18, 19. Sorry.